Hello retro gamers. Some time ago we were discussing how to update the original software on the SF2000 to the latest version. Today we will continue our discussion about the SF2000 with a video about Multicore. If you want, we can consider Multicore as a kind of custom firmware, but it is actually a modified version of the original software that adds more cores and implicitly new emulated systems, and in many cases also brings performance improvements. Before making any modifications, we strongly recommend applying the bootloader fix and backing up the original content of the card. Instructions on how to do this can be found in the previously posted video, so there's no point in presenting the same thing again. As usual, all the links presented in this video are available in the description. To download and install Multicore, we have three options. The first would be to use the resources published by those who developed and released Multicore. The second option is to download a complete image from sf2000.co.uk, an image that has a look and a ROM set closer to what we find on the original card. And the third option, which we will present today, is using the purple Neo Multicore version. This version brings improvements to the ROM set and comes with a theme that, at least for me, is more visually pleasing. For downloading, we can use the direct link for the zip file or use the torrent, which might slightly increase the download speed. While the download is in progress, it's a good time to install the bootfix and back up the current content of the card to avoid potential future headaches. Keep in mind that the new software uses different cores, so it's very likely that all saves won't work after installing Neo Multicore, and you'll have to start all over. In the meantime, we recommend formatting the card, ensuring that the selected file system is FAT32 to have a clean card for the new system. Next, we extract the newly downloaded file directly onto the micro SD card. In the end, the SD card's root folder structure should look like this. Now we can insert the card with the freshly installed Multicore software into the device, and that's it, we can now enjoy an improved system. The device starts up about as quickly as it did with the original software, in my case with a boot time of approximately 6 to 7 seconds. After starting up, we are greeted by a more modern interface, and navigating through the main menu we will see that in addition to the classic systems that have their own category, we now find categories that contain games for multiple systems. Normally, I would have only gone for the systems that the original software did not support, but since Neo Multicore brings changes and improvements to almost all the systems, we will go through those that we have already presented in the initial review of the console as well. So let's start with the Nintendo Entertainment System, where the performance is very good and the games run smoothly, but here we didn't have any problems with the original software either, so we don't necessarily see a change. But moving on to the Super Nintendo, which had issues with the initial software, we already see major improvements, and the games that were previously unplayable due to emulation problems now work, such as Final Fantasy III, which was initially not playable at all, as seen in the image on the left. Now, although it doesn't run at 100%, the emulation is quite acceptable. We also see performance improvements with the Sega Mega Drive, where, although the initial problems were quite few, they did exist. Now, however, all the games I tested run very well, with no visible lag or frame skipping. The next category is a multi-system one. Here we will find games from PC Engine, Sega Master System and Game Gear, all running very well, as you'll be able to see. Next, we'll have a look at the category called Arcade Classics, where we have MAME and Final Burn Alpha games. Here too, all the tested games run very well, and the issue with the flickering shadows noted in the initial review seems to have disappeared in some games. Here we have another category that contains only systems that cannot be emulated with the original software, and in it we find games for the Neo Geo Pocket, the Atari Lynx, the classic Atari 2600, and the Atari 7800. All the games that we tested here were emulated well, with a few small exceptions on the audio side for some of the Atari 7800 games. The last obvious category in the main menu is the one that contains the Game Boy series games. Let's start with the Game Boy Classic, where we can observe a change that for me is an improvement that will be maintained in the other systems in the category, namely the fact that now the games run with the correct aspect ratio and the image is no longer stretched, which for me often causes an unpleasant graphical distortion. Besides that, the games here run very well on the original software as well, a fact that hasn't changed with the new Multicore. Same improvement can be observed with the Game Boy Color. Now, let's move on to the system where Neo Multicore brings the most performance improvements, the Game Boy Advance. If you remember from the initial video, we had games that ran so slowly they were impractical, one of them being GTA Advance, which now runs almost without issues. To make a comparison, on the left we have the original software, and on the right we have Neo Multicore. But the improvements are visible in most games here, making it a very practical system. The SF2000 can now also run GTA Advance, although not perfect, a game that would freeze shortly after launch with the original software. The pleasant surprises of Neo Multicore don't end here. Going to the ROMs and settings category, in the games list we find some new systems, such as Pico 8, which runs very well but without sound. Sound can be activated by modifying a file on the SD cards, but the games will run very slowly. Here we can also find Pokemon minigames, as well as some ports for other games such as Outrun Cannonball, and several versions of Doom. To summarize, Neo Multicore transforms the DataFrog SF2000 into an extremely versatile portable gaming device, capable of emulating a wide range of classic consoles. If you are a fan of retro games, this firmware is definitely an upgrade worth trying, and it's very likely that you will never go back to the original software. That's all for today. Until the next time, happy retro gaming!